Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon. Well, good morning, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Come on in, make sure you guys hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me make sure everything is straight. Sorry I'm late. My camera wasn't connecting or something was going on. I had to redo everything, so that's why I'm a little tardy to the party. But how's everybody doing? Come on in, make sure you guys hit that like button. Shout out to Great Polo. Shout out to all the MGMs, Sheridan Forbes, what's going on? Jonathan, J. Cole, Pippi, shout out to all the moderators. William Sweet, 5-star, Go Logistics, Rich Jew, Sharks World. Come on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. How's everybody doing? Today we're going to talk about moving. All right. We're going to talk about moving. And the reason why we're going to talk about moving is because I saw something the other day that, really I was, happy about, because it just proves that everything that I've been telling you, no matter what lane you go in, the harder you work, the jobs that are more difficult, the opportunity is always going to be there. You just have to do the work. So the reason why I can come on here and say there's no such thing as cheap freight and say, man, I don't want to hear your complaining and I don't want to hear all this dumb shit, because the way I came into the industry, I came in through moving. All right. So I came in moving. My moving company was first, and then I started a trucking company, right? Final Mile, right? I didn't know anything about Final Mile until a 3PL called my moving company and said, hey, we're struggling with this account. There's a lot of claims. There's a lot of lifting involved. And, we're more used to messenger service, and just the guys that we have doing this are just accustomed to doing small parcel. And, as an executive, the executives decided that maybe we should reach out to some moving companies, because you guys are used to dealing with just large items. You guys know how to maneuver this stuff in and out of places. So would you be willing to come in for a meeting? I came in, and basically they gave me two options, which both were name your price options, right? Because they were in survival mode to save this huge account, this national account. And this is what introduced me to 3PL, and I saw how sweet it was, and I started another company simultaneously that ran alongside my moving company, which was the Final Mile company, and you guys know the rest of the story. All right, but it all started from moving. So when I be hearing people complain, I'm like, well, just go start a moving company. Well, I don't want to be doing that type of work. Remember, y'all used to make fun of me when I first started on YouTube. Y'all didn't want to carry this. Y'all didn't want to move that. Y'all didn't want to do Final Mile because it's too labor intensive. Now you're looking for these opportunities and they're not there. But I told you it was going to get to this point. I said, do curbside. I said, do Final Mile if you don't want to do moving. But moving is still available because it's just a labor tedious job. No one wants to do it. And I get it. But the money is there. And even when you tell people where the money is, because people are scared of hard work, they don't want to do it. There's no drought in moving. There's plenty of opportunity available. Even with all the rogue moving companies, and rogue means unlicensed moving companies, there's still plenty of opportunity. Why? Because no one wants to do the work. And guess what? It pays a lot of money. What you running across country to make that you hoping you can make in a week, I can do that in a day. One truck can do that in a day. Yeah, I'm not bullshitting you. I've been telling y'all that since day one. Y'all used to make fun of me and shit. Yep, sure did. Y'all sure did. Yes, you did. You did used to make fun of me when I came on YouTube. And now you still don't want to work. So this is why I don't want to hear the complaining and shit. This is why I can make fun of you. Because me, I know how to get to the money. I know hard work is going to always be there. And there's always going to be opportunity because you don't want to do it. So let's talk about the trucking side. I saw something the other day on another channel on the semi-truck side. And I want to share that with you guys. I want to share it with you. Hold on a second. We're going to cook up. Don't worry about it.
Andre, bro. This is beautiful. I mean, I would hate to ask for a tour. Trucking is so difficult right now, and every driver for the last 2 minutes when you were in there were looking at this, taking pictures of this. You know, they hear freight rates are down, trucking is down, everything's down. But my man is in this right here. Can we give him some positive energy today, sir?
Well, first of all, my wife and I, we run as a team.
Wow.
So
tell me about having a beautiful partner in life.
It's wonderful. It's great. I mean, have we together 24/7, 7 days a week, so it's great.
So, you know, get someone, a great partner in your life in this trucking game.
Oh, yeah. Somebody you can live with now.
I heard that.
Yeah, you got to be able to live with him 24 hours, so.
I heard that.
But yeah, I can do that.
So, 365 days out of the year, how many days y'all in this truck?
Look at that truck. Look at that truck. Now, remember we reviewed the guy a few weeks ago with the $200,000 Peterbilt. I don't know what this motherfucker. I don't know what it costs. I ain't looked it up. I don't even know what that is. All right. But looking at it, I know it costs a lot of money. It costs more than the $200,000 the Peterbilt guy. Now, look at that truck and then look at the guy's face. And then remember the guy with the Peterbilt's face. The guy with the Peterbilt was all crying and sad and complaining. And oh my God, oh, everybody's going through it. And I said, no, everybody's not going through it. I said, you are lying. Everybody's not going through it. He made a piss poor decision to go out and buy a $207,000 truck in this economy. But he's also in a lane that's a lot more competitive. See, people come in. When you talk about hard work, see how people don't want to stick around? But now look at this guy, fairly new truck that he bought recently, way more than $200,000, and he's smiling. He's smiling. See how people come in? They don't want to hear this. You know why? Because it's work involved. I'm doing this live stream to prove to you a point. And this is why I don't want to hear all that complaining. And this is why I don't like hearing it, because it's bullshit, fam. There's opportunity out there. It's just people want to do all the simple shit. They want to dive into the lanes that everybody's in that's competitive. They don't want to be business people and transition to what's paying, and then they complain. But here's a guy who's in the semi-truck lane, and he's making a lot of money. Let's see how he's made. Let's see what he does to be able to afford this house on wheels.
We stay out about 4 months at a time.
Really? Yeah. You know, what's the best advice in this time of need for truck drivers?
Don't give up on it. I mean, the rates are going to go back, but for us, like I said, we run as a team. And
no, they're not, sir.
We don't run general freight. We run for United Van Lines, which is a household.
Yeah.
So
United Van Lines, household goods moving. Household goods moving. Don't matter what the economy is. Economy's bad. People are losing. People got to move. People are winning. People buying bigger houses, moving. Corporate moves. Always going to need somebody to move. It's a lot of work, though. Ooh, it's a lot of work.
For North American Van Lines all my life.
So we do that specialized division.
Oh.
That's why there's a reefer unit on the front of there.
Look at that. I was going to say, man. I was like, this is beautiful. So at the end of the day, the advice is the more you can specialize, the better you'll be.
The better you be.
I love that.
Deck, oversized, anything specializes. General freight, all the big companies have it. So the rates are gonna suck. Specialized, not everyone want to touch a fingerprint freight. So
yeah,
that's where you want to be.
So before I let you go, everybody's in the dry van, everybody's in the normal reefer. Mm-hmm. How do you even get an opportunity to get into the specialized?
apply for it. But you gotta want to work though. That's the thing though. It just
I see them shoulders. I see them shoulders.
You gotta want to work. He's household, long distance household. And he said, you gotta want to work. You gotta want to work. Opportunity is there. And I'm gonna tell you why today. And I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear it. I already know this live stream ain't gonna really do well because people see moving in the thumbnail and they just, oh my God, that's a lot of work. But then that's why you struggling. You got a box truck, you got an asset, you're complaining about spot market rates, you're complaining about the competition, but here's a whole lane that exists where there's not much competition. Even if you don't want to go to the extent of household goods moving, which is way more intense than final mile delivery, you can still go final mile delivery. You don't want to do that. Less competition, ain't got to deal with the spot market, dedicated 5, 6, 7 days a week, depending on what contract you're working on, what 3PL. But there is work associated with it. And I get it. It's not for everybody. But here is my thing, because I'm not an OTR guy. I never ran OTR. I came in with the equipment, in this industry, the way I came in was doing the hardest thing. So I came in automatically doing the hardest shit you can do. And then when I diversified, I started doing the second hardest shit you can do. Right? So I understand the level of work that is associated with it. I don't really understand why people complain. Here's the thing. If you have an asset and something's not working as a business person, you have to be able to transition. If you're not willing to do whatever to save your business, then why be a business owner? I give this analogy all the time. If I owned a restaurant in a community and I owned an American restaurant, let's say an American restaurant, and we sold American dishes, hamburgers and french fries and hot dogs, right? And I've been in this neighborhood for 20 years and the neighborhood goes through gentrification and I see a large population of Hispanics starting to move into the neighborhood. I see my sales are going down, right? Because the people who would traditionally come in and dine in my restaurant are moving out and Hispanics are moving in. Then as a business person, I can't just up and pick up my restaurant and move to another traditional American neighborhood. I'm going to have to make a decision and I'm going to implement Hispanic meals into my menu. I'm going to have to go get some new menus printed up. I'm going to have to change all my signage when people come to the register and order whatever it is. And I'm going to have to hire me a new chef. I'm going to have to implement tacos, burritos, fajitas. I'm going to have to add dishes that are south of the border dishes, right? To accommodate the change in the neighborhood. I'm going to have to meet the needs of the business. I'm going to have to adapt. And this is why I don't understand with a lot of these people that are coming into this box truck industry. When you tell them, well, here's a way you can make money. I don't want to do that. Well, why get a truck? I remember when I was working in retail and I was working in the Gap, right? And I worked at the flagship and it was 3 levels. Once we moved out of the old building on Michigan and Huron, we moved into the new building on Michigan and Ohio. When you came in the store, you came in on the first floor was the men's floor, women's floor was on the second floor, kids and children were in the basement, and then on the third floor was, we called it intimates, which was like women's lingerie and shit like that. But women's sales did the most. Women's clothes did the most sales, day in, day out, monthly, yearly, weekly. We were making more money on women's sales than men. So it didn't make sense to have the women's on the second floor. So we had to transition one day overnight. We had to swap out the women's floor to the first floor and men's floor to the second floor. We had to do that overnight. So when the store closed at 9, it was all hands on deck. We had to swap those 2 floors. Why? Because most of the sales are coming from the women. So you want to have that on the first floor. That was a decision by the store manager to meet the needs of the business. If we're making more money day in and day out from women's sales, why the hell do they got to get on the elevator or the escalator or climb flights of stairs to get to the second floor? Have that shit on the first floor. The men are going to go upstairs regardless. They ain't got no choice. But if we're making more money in women's, we need to have that as soon as person crosses the threshold. That's meeting the needs of the business. So if you got a box truck and you come to me crying and complaining about cheap freight and all this goofball shit, this is why I say it. You not willing to go do the work. I'm not scared of hard work. I don't know what sitting in a box truck, backing into a dock, letting somebody load it, driving across country, backing into the dock, sitting there waiting for them to load it, waiting for the green light to come on and all that shit. That's good and dandy. But I don't know what easy work feel like. I know what a lot of money feel like, though. I know what it feel like to get a lot of money. You know why? Because I've always done the hardest work. And this ain't me bragging. I'm keeping it a buck with you. I've showed my books. I showed you my books prior to me even getting licensed when I used to keep the shit in a notebook. You're looking at $2,000 net days. Net. And this is before the license. So maybe this is why I don't have sympathy for a lot of y'all that come in and then be complaining and shit, because when I tell you about other opportunities that have far less competition, that people are begging for you to come in, you don't want to do it because, man, I don't want to do this work. Well, guess what? Just call them people and tell them to come pick your truck up. I don't got no sympathy for you. Me, whatever I got to do to save my business, if more work is associated with it, then fine. Especially if more money is associated with it. And then some of y'all catch this in y'all 20s and 30s that be coming up here complaining. Like, I'm finna drop a clip probably in the next day that I know people didn't see or maybe people forgot about. 20-something years old, don't want to work. But we already know what's finna happen. There's no such thing as building a business without hard work. There's no such thing as I'm just gonna start this business and I'm gonna sit back. Nah, family, you gotta build the business, which means you gotta get out there and work. Let's finish this though.
You gotta want to work. That's the thing right here.
Yeah, I appreciate you and I love you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
No, thank you
Nice
for your
meeting
time.
you.
No, you just.
That's the thing right here.
Yeah, I appreciate you and I love you, brother.
But you gotta want to work, though. That's the thing, though. It just.
I see them shoulders. I see them shoulders.
Yeah, you gotta want to work. That's the thing right here.
Yeah, I appreciate you and I love you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
No, thank you
Nice
for your
meeting
time.
you.
No, you just bought this last year when
Yeah.
people are saying the.
Look at that, Mom. Look at that. Household goods moving. Just on a cross-country level. What is that? Can somebody tell, what is that? I know it's a Kenworth. How much, let me see how much this thing costs. What is that, a Kenworth? What's that, a TA80? Let's see how much that thing costs. I'm curious. Kenworth TA80. Price. Let's say price or for sale. Oh, no, we need the whole with the cab. With the cab. Let's see. Browse truck inventory. Kenworth TA80 with. Oh, I think that's custom. He had that. He ordered that. Because I don't see. Hold on. Let's see. TA80. Oh. TA80. Yeah, I can't find one that looked like that. That thing, I don't know. Can somebody up to 300,000? Up to 300? Ari Sleeper, you said? Hold on, let's see. Ari Sleeper. Price. Woo! 400. 400. He ordered that. He said they delivered it this past December. That's $400 right there. And he's smiling. He paid $200,000 more for that versus the I don't know if he was Hispanic or Arab dude that we saw a few weeks ago that was crying, right? See the difference? He's smiling, he happy. $200,000 more. Why? Because his bag different. Listen, some of these cross country moves, I've charged people $20,000 and $25,000 to move people from here to the West Coast. So doing a corporate move or doing maybe like a 5 or 6 bedroom house across country, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 easy. Even with the van lines taking their cut, you still coming off good. But like he said, you got to want to work. It's still a lot of lifting involved. Got to hire your crew to load and unload. You going to help them. It's a lot of lifting. Like he said, you got to want to work. You got to want to lift. You got to want to carry things. He's not tripping on a $400,000 truck in this economy because he's making the money because he's in a lane that nobody wants to get in because don't nobody want to work. So you get a 26-foot box truck and you're running the spot market and you're 30, 32 years old. And you're crying and complaining on Facebook groups and everywhere. And then who is this guy, Mark, the mentor, talking about ain't no cheap rates, telling us to stop complaining. Mark is the guy who came in 2010 as a mover. That know what it's like to make a lot of money, but doing a lot of hard work. On them 90 and 100 degree days, I know what it's like to run up 4 flights of stairs. To move someone out and then take them to another place that's up 3 flights of stairs and move them up 3 flights of stairs on a 100 degree day. I know what that feel like. And you know what? At the end of that move, it was all worth it. Let's talk about it, though. Let's talk about it. Why does household goods move and pay so much? One, high demand, right? There's not a lot of people that are willing to do that type of work because of the labor that's involved with it. Even in today's society, it's even worse because people are just far more lazier today, right? It's very labor intensive, depending on the scope of the job. It's time consuming, but what people fail to realize is you're getting paid for every hour. So for instance, if you start a licensed moving company, right? And you start with one truck, let's say you start with a 26-foot truck, depending on your market, you're charging $150 an hour for 3 guys. You're charging $50 an hour a man. You're starting a business. You're on the truck too, plus your other 2 guys. You're paying them $20, $25, let's say $25 an hour. That's $50 an hour. That's going out to your labor. You're making $100 an hour off the labor, including you being on the truck, plus all the other truck fees that are associated with it. Now, let's say that move is a 3-bedroom and it takes you 8 hours. Do the math. Let's say you're charging $100 an hour, man. Now that's $300 an hour. 3-bedroom, let's say a third to a third. It could easily be a 10-hour move. Do the math. Just off the labor, do the math. Now calculate all the truck fees. You may literally move a person within a 5-mile radius locally. So you're charging them truck fees, but you're really not burning any gas. The materials you're charging them for with a 20% markup. The labor, you're making profit off the labor. You incur no cost. The customer incurs all the costs and you profit on top of it. But you guess what? You're gonna be running up some flights. You're gonna be carrying some heavy stuff. You're gonna have to squeeze something the size of a watermelon into something the size of a lemon. You're gonna have to sacrifice your body. You're gonna bang your finger trying to get that couch through that doorway. When you coming up the stairs, and then you gotta turn that couch to get it through the doorway. You're gonna hit your finger plenty of times. Going up them flights of stairs, you gotta have that upper body strength. You're gonna have to twist and turn your body in ways that you never twisted and turned before. You're gonna have to squat and get low. Them hips, them abductors and them adductors, they gonna have to work. So you need to do some stretching. You need to go to the gym and hit that abductor and that adductor machine. You gotta make sure them hips is loose, baby. You gotta be able to spread them hips because you're gonna be doing a lot of squatting. If you can't squat and keep that back straight, your back gonna feel it. Ooh, your back gonna feel it. Your shoulders gonna feel it. Your legs gonna feel it. Your feet gonna feel it. This is why I can come talk this shit. I don't want to. I can't honor that shit that a lot of y'all be talking. And this is why, because y'all, it's ways for you to make money with your equipment. Y'all just don't want to go do it. Shout out to the super chat. Dizzy says, show the paperwork. That's cap. Dizzy must be new to the channel. Dizzy must be new to the channel. Dizzy must be new to the channel. So let's bring him up because I've already showed the paperwork. I'm not going to show the paperwork every time somebody new comes to the channel that's complaining. But come on here. For the right amount, we'll bring you up and we'll show you some shit. There go linkage. It's always these new people, bro. Go back in the content. The taxes is there. I've showed the books. Go back through the content. Some of your favorite content creators done been to Chicago. We done spent a lot of money. We done showed them a good time. Oh, it's factuals. So if you don't think you can make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day doing moving, you a fool. During the pandemic, I was charging $300 an hour, $100 an hour per man. Like, what are you talking about? No, you can't call cap and then don't come up. Like anybody that knows about moving knows that moving pays the most money. Like, what do you think movers make? $20 an hour? Are you crazy? No, I don't want to hear that driving mess. Come on up here. Come on up on the Summer Jam screen. See, what happens is when you start calling people out for complaining, this is what they call. But the shit is in the content. Just go back and look through the content. Link pin to, did we pin it to the top of the chat? Did we pin it to the top of the chat? Hold on, let's pin it to the top of the chat. Give me a second. Here we go. That's sir. Yo, your camera froze. I don't like. Anytime you get to talking about some work, oh man, that's cap. Prove to me that it's cap. Show me how you can make more money. I don't know what he's calling cap. But anybody knows moving money makes more. Moving makes more than any other thing you can do in a box truck. Like, you just don't want to do the work. I've already been validated, sir. It's always these new guys, bro. These new guys, boy, I'm telling you. We're going to give them a chance to hit the link. You know, I love a good channel. You know, we have no problem dropping the link. We ain't like the channels that see the comments and then act like we didn't see them and block them. No, come on up here. Nah, hit the link again. You froze. That's what happened. I pulled you up. Your camera was froze. Come on, hit the link again. Hit the link again. Hit the link again. Hit the link again. Again, hit the link again. Come on. Come on. Anytime I get to talking about work and moving and shit, oh, this, that, and the third. I'm going to go get some books. I'm going to show you something. Because it's already in the content. I already did it. I already showed people. But you knew. So I guess we're going to have to put you on the Summer Jam screen. Come on up here, Mr. Cross Country Driver. There you go. There we go. Hopefully his camera working. Hopefully his camera working. Oh, let's see. We're going to add him. We're going to add him. Man, we don't see you. I don't see you, bro. You got to turn your camera on and your mic is, well, you got to turn your camera and your mic on. And then I'll pull you on screen. He in the chat laughing, but this is all I see. Bro, you got to turn your camera and your mic on, sir. All right. Let me carry on, bro. All right. So we left off on time and labor intensive. All right. Also, it's very complex. All right. There's a lot of variables factored in when it comes to moving. But before I get into the complexity of it, let's talk about why it pays so much, right? One, it's a premium service. It's a lot of work that customers don't want to do themselves. Customers can easily move themselves. They can go to U-Haul, get a 26-foot truck or a 16 or 17-foot truck or a 15-foot truck or a 10-foot truck, and they can move themselves. But because of the labor that's involved with it, a lot of people don't want to do it themselves, right? So let me tell you why there's not much competition. And I've talked about this before. There are barrier to entries with moving that you have to meet that you don't have to meet when you're doing general freight, right? Especially if your state regulates it, right? All right. So in order to get your federal authority, obviously you have to get a household goods authority. Obviously, you're going to pay more in insurance. But if your state regulates it, like a lot of states do, there's a process that you have to go through, right? One, you're dealing with people's personal belongings. All right. So I'm going to tell you how it goes in my state. I think Texas is similar. Some other states are similar. This is how difficult it is because it's regulated. All right. It's regulated. All right. So in the state of Illinois, if you want to apply to become a mover, and this is how you keep out a lot of people, you apply for the application, right? You fill out the application. The application is $900, right? You're going to pay $900. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to get your license, right? You have to fill out the application. You have to send in a check with $900, right? The regulating authority, which is the Illinois Commerce Commission, right? They'll get your application and they're going to look it over, and then they're going to they're going to send you a hearing date, right? Once you get that hearing date, you have to post that hearing date in the state newspaper. So you have to take out an ad in the state newspaper and post your hearing date, right? So I, Mark the Mentor, looking to start a new moving company. I got a hearing date August 31st in Des Plaines, Illinois, with the Illinois Commerce Commission, room 101 at 9 a.m., whatever, judge, whatever, boom. Now, what this does is gives anybody any reason to come to your hearing date and object you getting a moving license for any reason. All right. So you go to your hearing date. All right. No one's there to object. The judge is going to, look you over and, see if you're willing, capable, fit, and able to run a licensed moving company. If the judge feels like you're capable, then what the judge does is grant you a 12-month permit, right? You still don't get licensed. All right. So within this 12 months, you're on a probationary period, right? So within that probationary period, obviously you got to run clean, because in a year, you got to go back in front of the judge. And if there's any occurrences, it could possibly deter the judge from granting you your moving license. All right. So that's the process here, because it's regulated. I used to work for a moving company out of Atlanta. Okay. So what are you working? I rock with your channel, but those numbers are capped. Okay. Well, see, it's a difference from working for a moving company and owning a moving company. All right. Second of all, there's a difference in markets. All right. All right. There's a difference in markets. You work in Atlanta. I'm in Chicago. We're in a bigger city, a richer city, right? And our rates are different here. And actually, in today's market, the rates are lower because you got migrants are in here that are driving down the rates, which is making it difficult. But an average mover goes for $50 an hour. So if I'm moving, and you're basically telling me what I've made. So I've done moves that have taken 3 days. I've done moves that have started at 7, 8 in the morning, that have went to wee hours of the next morning, 3, 4 in the morning. I've done moves that have gone cross country. You're telling me what I have done. And you were an employee and I'm an owner. So let's think about this here. I'm paying guys $20, $25 an hour. I don't know if he's saying $100, $150 an hour is cap, but if I'm paying people $20, $25 an hour, what do you think I'm charging the customer? During the pandemic, to get people to come to work, I was paying up to $50, $60 an hour. You can call any moving company right now, and the licensed moving company. Oh, here he is again. Let's see if his camera works. Oh, it looks like he's working now. Hello? Yo.
Can you hear me?
I hear you loud. I hear you loud and clear, but I hear a lot of wind too. You gotta let the windows up, big dog.
I told y'all I'm doing OTR. I can't.
You can't let the window up. You ain't got no AC.
I don't gotta do. I don't do no capping for the people that said
No. You saying I'm capping?
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I dropped the link.
But I really can't hear you, bro, because I'm driving. You know what I'm saying? I really can't hear you. That's why I said I'm doing OTR, bro. If I could have got you at a better time, maybe it'd be. But I said I gotta prove to the ones in the chat that said I was capping.
But no, don't prove nothing to nobody in the chat. What I dropped the link for you to come up here and dispel. So he came up here to, I don't know what y'all done said to the man in the chat. He said he came up here to show that he's proved to y'all in the chat that he's doing OTR. Okay, fine. All right, but I didn't bring him up here for that. I brought him up here to tell me how movers don't make that much money. That's why I brought him up here. I don't know what y'all got going on in the chat, but all right, whatever, bro. Let me get back to it. So the reason why there's not a lot of moving companies, and like when you call around at the end of the month and people who wait to the last minute, they call and they don't know that they're supposed to book movers weeks and months ahead of time. And they're like, man, I'm calling and everybody's booked. Everybody's booked. Everybody's booked. One, because of the regulations, especially in the states that are regulated, there's not a lot of movers. It's not easy to become a licensed mover as it is to get your authority to become a owner operator, right? There's barriers to entry that kind of prevent people from entering into the household good moving sector. And then there's other things that deter people too, like sourcing the labor, right? We had someone in the Discord yesterday who got presented an opportunity for a guy who owns a moving company, a small company, 2 trucks, and he's looking to get out. I guess he didn't see the exit at towards the end of the pandemic, and he's trying to get out now, but he probably doesn't have enough capital to get out. So he's looking for someone to run the day to day, and so he can pretty much take a seat back because he's 45 now, and he probably can't get on the truck. And that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people now that own moving companies, especially if you have a smaller operation, a few trucks, sourcing talent now is very difficult. So it forces moving owner operators that 2, 3, 4 trucks to have to get back on the truck. You know, I had to come back out in the field during the pandemic because of what's going on out here in the world now as far as sourcing talent. But it's labor intensive. Obviously, we got into the complexity of the job. Now, the reason why it pays so much is because of the work that's associated with moving, right? It's a lot of heavy lifting. It's a lot of twisting and turning and sacrificing your body. Dizzy saying this cat, but I wish Dizzy could feel how my shoulder feels. Remember when I did the live stream today in 2022 when I threw my shoulder out with that arm war? I still complain about this shoulder today. Every now and again, you'll see me on a live stream. I'll be on a live stream and I'll just do this to kind of keep this shoulder moving. This shoulder ain't been the same. This is why moving pays a lot, right? This is why you have to pay a premium to your guys, especially in today's time. And this is why you can charge the customer premium. Now, when I was getting started back in the day, I was paying $10 an hour for helpers, $13 an hour for the drivers, which was good back then, right? Because back then, minimum wage was like $6.75, $7 an hour. So a person making $10, I remember back in the day, if you was making $10, that was a big thing. $13 to the driver. Can't get away with that nowadays, right? Especially for something this labor intensive. So this is why you can charge a premium. There's a lot of work associated with it. Jam fingers. I fell off a truck a couple times, loading the truck to the edge and just missing my footing. I remember one time I was coming up a ramp. This was actually during the pandemic and it was raining and I slipped. You know what I'm saying? I had guys that have slipped. I had a guy, we were moving some radiators out of a place. So they were moving some radiators out of a place. And the customer stairs just gave. So my guy, Aaron, one of my employees, Aaron, his foot went through the stair. The stair just gave. And obviously the radiator came down on his leg. There's just a lot associated with it. Another reason the prices are high, premium prices, is because of the risk factor, not just the labor risk factor, but the damage, the claims. A lot of opportunity for claims when it comes to moving, right? Because you have the goods that you're responsible for, and you also have the property that you're responsible for. Like I said earlier, you're moving some things that can be, and I'm just giving you an analogy, something the size of a watermelon, and you may have to squeeze them into something the size of a lemon. That's just the analogy. All right. You got a big couch. You got to twist it, angle it to get it in the door. There may be a wall right there. So now you got to go up with it. You got to come under with it or getting it out. You may bring it at the door. The person outside the door has to pull it from under, pull it up, so on and so forth. There's just a lot of opportunities for damages. Floor damages, wall damages, banners, damage to the items if they're not properly wrapped, if they're not properly secured. So because of all this risk for damage is also another reason why it's a premium service. All right, let's get into, I talked about premium service. All right, boom. Reputation. This is how you make money with moving. I talk about it all the time. After you've been in business a few years and you've done some good moves, and this is why it's key to do good quality moves, right? It's a personal service, meaning you're going into someone's private space, their home, right? You're going into people who have families with small children, people who have wives, people who have, just, expensive things, I remember back in the day when I was building the company, I remember flipping over a mattress one time and it was just $100 bills just under the mattress. They weren't in a bag, they weren't in an envelope. They was just hundreds of dollars of bills just under the mattress. And I told the customer, I gathered them all up and I handed them to the customer. The customer handed me a $100 bill and said, "Thank you for being honest." I remember one time back in the day when I was moving a dresser, I was wrapping a dresser, and I guess the customer forgot to remove their firearm. Firearm was in the dresser. I've come across a couple firearms, and I've told the customer, your firearm is here. People have prized possessions. They leave their phones laying around, their iPads, right? So once a customer finds a mover, because customers are leery of movers. There's a stigma on movers. When you go look at reviews, you hear moving companies stealing things, breaking things. So what happens when a customer finds a reliable mover? They stick with them, right? And then they refer you to their friends, to their family. A lot of my business throughout the years, as I became more tenured, majority of my business, about 40% of my business was repeat customers and referrals. And this is what you need. Once you get a customer, and they just gonna always move with you. That's how you build your company. But you have to provide a great service. And the best way to provide a great service is making sure things get from point A to point B, making sure things get from point A, they arrive at point B the same way they came from point A. No damages to the goods, no damages to the property. That's key. Working efficient, not dragging out the clock. I remember customers would call and say, "Hey, I got a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm on the second floor, moving to the second floor. I want to go with 2 movers." And I said, "No, you're going to need 3 movers." "No, we don't have that much stuff." I said, "No, you need 3 movers." "Well, it should only take 2 hours." I said, "No, it's not going to take 2 hours. A 2-bedroom, based off what you're telling me you got, it's looking at about 4 to 6 hours." "Well, no, I think it should only be 2 hours." "All right, well, you know what? I don't think so. I'm telling you it's going to take 4 to 6 hours. You're going to need 3 guys to do it." Once I talk them into it, they obviously they book it. And then when the movers get there, they're moving very efficiently. They're not stopping. And the customer realizes that, wow, I have a lot more than what I thought. Because what happens is the customer may move into a location, and when they moved in, they accumulate things over a period of time. And what they may remember the time length that it took them to move in, right? It's not going to be the same thing coming out. One, moving in is shorter, right? Because everything is wrapped up, things of that nature. When you're moving out, you got to break things down, you got to wrap things, you got to prepare things, and then people accumulate things over the course of the tenure of when they've been in that apartment, right? Sometimes people, meet their soulmate, and then their significant other may move in, and this is probably why they're moving out, because they're moving into a bigger place. But when you get there and the movers are moving efficiently, they're not stopping for breaks, they're not stopping for cigarette breaks, they're moving, that's when the customer realizes, wow, I have a lot more than what I thought. You know what? You were right. 3 guys, it took 4.5 hours. I'm happy to pay. These guys are amazing. And they tip very, very well. So you have to go in there and provide a great service. And I guarantee you, those referrals is what's going to drive your business going forward. All right. I think I touched on less competition, but I'll touch on it again. The reason why there's less competition, obviously, because of the nature of the beast. It's a lot of work. People don't want to do work, right? But there's a lot of money involved in moving. A lot of money involved. You can make a lot of money in moving. You just got to want to work. Just like the gentleman said, who does cross-country moving for a van line on a local level, you can make a lot of money. Even if you don't start with a 26-foot box truck, you get started with a 16-foot box truck. When I started, obviously you guys know I started doing odds and ends off of Craigslist. And then I started renting a Penske truck. This is all prior to me getting licensed. I started with the 16-foot truck, and I was doing up to 1 bedroom. And then I started going up to 2 bedrooms. I would do 3 moves a day. All right. I would do 3 moves a day. I was charging $100 an hour for 3 guys. I was one of the guys on the truck when I was with one truck. And then I had 2 other guys, and I'm averaging $300, $400, $500, depending on the time of move. And this is back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So now when labor is more and you can charge more, prior to me retiring, a typical 1-bedroom apartment move, I was averaging $1,000 per 1-bedroom apartment move, right? So there's a lot of money in moving because of premium service, less competition now. There is a lot of rogue competition, and in the moving industry, professional movers, we call unlicensed movers rogue movers. These are the guys who are on your Craigslist and Thumbtack. And listen, I don't have a problem with rogue movers because I was once a rogue mover. Most moving companies started the same way I did. If you look at the story of 2 Men in a Truck, the reason why they called themselves 2 Men in a Truck, because these were 2 college guys who were looking to make extra money. I believe it was their aunt or their mother funding them the money for the pickup truck or whatever, but they were doing small jobs around a college town up in Michigan, just doing small moves out of the pickup truck, and it evolved into what you now know as the franchise of 2 Men in a Truck. There's big companies here that are private companies that started the same way. Some of these guys were peers in the space that started around the same time that I started. I talked about two of those guys yesterday in the Discord, right? Most licensed moving companies start the same way, under the table rogue. So me personally, I'm not the guy who's going to throw a rogue moving company under the bus because I started as a rogue mover. All right. So, but in the license space, there's not a lot of competition. You have some consumers. You have some consumers that prefer not to use unlicensed movers. You have some customers that prefer to use unlicensed movers because they feel like they're going to get the same quality and they rather not pay the premium charge for a licensed mover. They rather pay the minimum charge, but they understand what they're getting. Some customers prefer to pay for an unlicensed mover because they don't want to pay the premium cost because they feel like their furniture is not worth paying a licensed mover. You know, you have some customers that have a bunch of hand-me-down furniture. And these are the type of customers that I was getting when I was under the table, when I was posting ads on Craigslist. This is prior to Thumbtack, things of that nature. They weren't really concerned about their items getting scratched because they were scratched anyway. They were more concerned about, man, I need this shit to get from here to there within this 2-hour minimum. This is all I got. My stuff is damaged. It's all hand-me-down. I got this from the thrift store. I got this from my parents. I saw this sitting outside in the alley. They don't care. They just want the stuff to get from point A to point B. Now, the reason why I appreciate that is because those customers, me working prior to getting licensed, it gave me the opportunity to learn the moving industry without being held accountable. And what I mean by that is those customers who didn't care about their items getting dinged and scratched because I was promoting myself on Craigslist, this gave me an opportunity to learn how to move and maneuver things and bump things and scratch things and damage things without getting held accountable from the customer. When you're licensed and you're a premium mover, you break something, you got to fix it. Now, valuation is what customers get for free at 30 cents per pound per article. Locally, 60 cents per pound per article across state lines. But a lot of customers don't know that, right? Right. But then your moral compass kicks in. You can offer them valuation if they don't purchase declared value moving insurance or full value moving insurance. You can offer them the valuation, which 9.5 times out of 10 they're going to get upset about because they don't understand or they didn't know. And sometimes you may have to kick in and do the right thing. So I've replaced TVs. Obviously, I've gotten walls repaired, banisters repaired. I've gotten floors repaired. That's just the nature of the business, being in the moving business and also the final mile business, because those types of things you don't want to file claims on, because you know what that does when you have commercial insurance. There's one or two ways that's going to go. So those damages are going to have to come out of your pocket. All right. but it's the nature of the business. You want to keep your claims minimal, but you also have to understand. It's just like why I say, you know, this whole box truck maintenance thing. Listen, if you're coming into this business, you're going to have to pay maintenance on the truck. There's no way around it. So I understand owning a moving company, on a final mile delivery company, I got to pay. There's going to be claims, whether the claims are done negligently or it was a mistake. People are going to make mistakes. And it's just like one of my employees that came up on the channel, was it early this year, last year? And he said, you know what? I watched Mark's channel and he talks about how he charged us for claims. But to be honest, Mark took a lot of the claims on the chin. There was a lot of claims that Mark never took out of my check, you know, and that's true. A lot of claims I could not take out of certain people's checks, especially if I knew it would be detrimental to them and getting to work. There's certain claims that were just, I know somebody wasn't going to be able to cover. You know, there were certain claims that I knew that, you know, it was a tough job. The person did the best they could and they just made a mistake. I've had a situation where a guy was carrying a TV. I'm in Chicago. There's weather issues. You know, we move people in the snow. Red, we tell them to salt prior to the movers coming out, but sometimes it may be a little patch of little black ice. I had a guy slip with a TV in his hand. Now the customer was sympathetic that he slipped because this person is out on a cold, snowy, blistery Chicago day, slipped on their property, moving them. But at the end of the day, that TV still needed to be replaced. Now I could offer them valuation, which wouldn't have amounted up to a hill of beans, or I could just do the right thing and buy them a TV. Luckily, that TV was a Walmart. It was like an Element or a Hisense or Element or one of them Westinghouse. So it really wasn't that much. I picked up a 55-inch TV from Walmart, which was actually better than the TV that they sent me, and had it dropped off. I would prefer that than the customer writing a 1-star or a 2-star or 3-star review. She was raving about the service, but at the end of the day, it was one of those situations where, like, damn, like, lady, it's a snowy day. They slipped on ice on your property. Do you really want to we should just let this bygones be bygones, or, you know? So it's one of them situations like, do I say that? And then I could tell she was like, damn, I really don't want to say nothing, but I just lightened the load for both of us and I just replaced the TV. I understand that's the nature of the business. The guy slipped. It is what it is. You know, if I were to offer valuation on a 55-inch TV, let's say the TV weighed 10 pounds at 30 cents per pound per article, because most customers don't buy moving insurance, right? So if I were to offer the valuation at 30 cents per pound per article, and let's say the TV weighed 10 pounds, I literally would have sent her a check for $3. I'm not going to insult a person like that. So I just replaced the TV, you know? So, but that's another reason why it's a premium service. Is a lot of liability at stake. Liability to, I mentioned the goods, I mentioned to the property, and there's also liability to the employees. You know, there's a lot of physical strain associated with moving. Injuries, all right? So this adds on, you know, it's why you have to have workers' comp. And that's another liability that's at stake. Like I said, I had a guy go through some stairs with a radiator. I fell off trucks. I've slipped. I've had other guys slip and fall. I've had guys, you know, strain their back, you know, strain different muscles. I strained different muscles back in the day when I had to get back out on the truck during the pandemic. Obviously, I threw my shoulder out. I had an issue where I, you know, strained my lower back on one of those pandemic days where I was just short-staffed, and I ended up having to do a really, really difficult move with just me and one other guy. It was a 4th-story move, going up to a steep 2nd floor. And this guy just had it was a 4th-story walk up that was a duplex. So We had to go up 4 flights. It's just me and another guy. This is really a 3-guy job. So we had to go up 4 flights, and then the bedroom was lofted. So then we had to go up another flight. So 5 flights, and then we had to move him up a steep 2 flight. And every single thing he had was heavy. He was even one of those customers that left his dressers packed. And normally we wouldn't trip on something like that, right? Elevator building, first floor, second floor, maybe even a third floor. But because of the, being short staffed that day, 5 flights, tight hallways, every single thing he had a huge drafting table. I told him, and I didn't want to tell him, but I said, listen, you got to take the stuff out the chest and the dresser. Like, like this shit is heavy. It's heavy. It was heavy enough. But I knew I needed that little bit of extra oomph in me because I still had a long day ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? So, but this is why you get paid the big bucks. So I don't know what Dizzy's talking about. I don't live in Atlanta, but I'm going to tell you one thing about Chicago. We get to the money up here. We a richer city than Atlanta. You dig what I'm saying? I'm going to talk my shit. Now, I ain't forgot about you, Dizzy, because you came up here to talk shit to the people in the chat. I brought you up here to talk that shit to me. Chicago and Atlanta is different. We're a richer city. The cost of living is higher. The labor is higher. We can charge more. I don't know what moving pays down there, but for you to sit down in the chat and tell me the numbers don't add up when I've showed my numbers, like, that's bullshit. If I'm charging somebody $200 an hour and I'm on a job for fucking 10 hours, that's $2,000 right there, plus all the material costs and the truck fee. So that's like you saying I've never did a 10-hour job. I've had jobs that have went from the wee hours of morning to the next day. I remember moving a doctor. It took us 3 days to move this guy. So I don't your market and my market is 2 different markets. So what you made as an employee, I don't know. I'm a boss. So as a boss, I know what I charge my customers. I've even went as far as showing my Thumbtack invoices. I'm spending over $100 day by day by day paying for leads. So all the money that I'm spending on leads, I can't be spending that type of money if I ain't making it. When I'm spending $100+ a day on leads every single day, all year, that don't sound like somebody that's not getting to the money, big dog. But it's in the content. You can go back. It's all there for you, big dog. See, we can't talk employee. You worked for a company. And I get that. But an employee numbers, it ain't going to equal out to the owner's numbers. So maybe he thought I worked for a company. I know it's hard to believe a black man sitting up here talking business. I know it throws a lot of people off. It throws a lot of people off. But there's black people out here that know how to run businesses, sir. So, of course, your numbers and my numbers ain't going to never be the same. But the content is up there. Go back and look through some of the content. You're going to see the taxes. You're going to see the money we spend on leads. You're going to see whatever you need to see. We've done live streams showing books. I did my montage. Ooh, that boy. Woo. So all that shit that I used to get when I first started YouTube with the receipts is out there. Now I didn't gave them all to you. So you new guys, y'all got to go back through the old content, Charlie. You got to go back through that old content. Yeah, this young black nigga here. Listen, this young black nigga here is him for real. This is why I get up here and talk that shit. Some of your favorite content creators that came to Chicago is documented. Ooh, you talking about 1942 all night? Ooh, some subscribers done been here. See, this is why. People see that spaceship coming through the street. They're like, damn, who is that? That's Mark. I hit him with the dude. They see that big boy. You can't miss it. Oh, yeah, I'm talking my shit. I had to get the content off now. Now I'm going to talk my shit. So you got your content creators done been here. I run into subscribers all the time. The shit is documented. I've showed paperwork, taxes, all that shit, books. So you sitting up there telling me that movers don't make more than over the road? Is that what you saying is cap? Because it can't be me, so it's got to be the money. When I think he dropped it when he said $5,000 in a day. That ain't nothing. Let's say we go move a 5-bedroom house. Let's say it take 10 hours, but it's probably going to take more than 10 hours. But let's say it take 10 hours. Let's say it's a 3-man job. Let's say it's $300 an hour, $100 an hour, right? Which is depending on your level of moving the going rate. You call 2 men in the truck here, it's $100 an hour per man. So I don't know what goes on in Atlanta. I don't know if y'all charging these $50. Like here, $100 an hour per man. So let's say 3 guys, 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom house. Let's say 4-bedroom house. Let's say 10 hours. That's $3,000 right there. We still got to add the truck cost. Then we got to start adding the material cost. We know the material cost. If you're a mover, you know how the material cost can add up. Now, or maybe it was when I said what we charge to move to the West Coast. Bro, you think I'm going to the West Coast for nothing less than $20? You a fool. Do you know how much money it costs to get there? See, this is a conversation that when bosses, like you, an employee and a boss can't have the same conversation. You done stepped into some shit. You new to the channel. He say rock with the content, but you spoke out of turn because you didn't go watch the old content, sir. How much you think it's going to cost? See, you ain't going to be able to answer this. We move a 3-4 bedroom from Chicago to the West Coast. How much is that shit going to cost me? So how is the numbers capped? Go look how much it costs to rent a one-way U-Haul cross country. And this is you moving yourself. Let's look it up. I love when people that talk out of turn. Let's see. Chicago, Illinois. Let's say Los Angeles. Let's say we want to pick the truck up Friday. Let me share my screen. Share. All right, so if I wanted to rent a one-way truck to California and move myself, before I add insurance or anything else, I'm looking at $4,500. We ain't even added taxes yet. Just to rent the truck one way to go from here to there, without adding taxes, without adding any other things, I might have to tow my car. No insurance added yet. We're looking at $4,500 just to rent the truck. I still gotta hire people to help me load. I gotta hire people to help me unload. So how is the numbers cap? When renting a truck to move yourself, you over 5,000. Now this is a guy that worked for a moving company talking to an owner, because he doesn't know the costs that are associated with doing a cross-country move. So how are you going to sit here and tell me what I charge customers? So let's say I move someone from Chicago to LA. He's saying 20 grand is cap. Okay. So what's realistic then? What's realistic then? Dizzy and his brother. What's realistic then? If 20 is cap, what's realistic? But he's an employee. So I'm not saying this to shit on him. What I'm saying is, before he comes and says something, he needs to know what he's talking about. So if I decide I want to move myself from Chicago to LA, just me looking at a quote for the truck, not adding insurance yet, not adding taxes, I'm over 5 grand once I add all that shit. Now, to get from here to there is going to require fuel. It's also going to require labor. I can't check my Facebook live chat. I see Yisrael Zion says he worked for him or something. Well, man, the link is pinned, man. You can come on up too. No. This is Dizzy brother, and I was a part-time manager and mover. I saw the numbers. You saw your numbers. You didn't see my numbers. He said my numbers are capped. He's telling me what I said I would charge to go from here to the West Coast. He's saying that's capped. He worked for a moving company. Keyword worked. Now, I don't know what moving company he worked for. I don't know what y'all was charging. I don't know if y'all was licensed or unlicensed, but I know what it costs just to get to the West Coast. So for him to say the number that I gave was capped, tell me what's a realistic number then. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm showing you numbers for if I were to move myself. So hiring a company at a company rate, going cross country, and all the variables that are associated with hiring a company going cross country that an employee who never really owned a moving company but just worked for one wouldn't know. Why come into my chat? When you got movers in the chat right now that, trust me, they've been following me for years, that if my shit was flawed, they would have been held me accountable and called me out. So tell me how that number isn't realistic. Tell me what's a realistic number. Since you got all the answers, tell me what's a realistic number for somebody to move someone from the Midwest Chicago to LA. Because right now, moving ourselves there, we looking at $5,000 just for the truck, the U-Haul. And we still got a lot of more costs to add to move ourselves. Moving ourselves, we over 10 grand. We got to get boxes. We got to hire labor. We got to hire labor to unload. We got to put the fuel in there. Tell me. Since the number ain't realistic, give me the number. Give me the realistic number. I work for a moving company. Link pin to the top of the chat. Bro, hit the link and come on up. No, hit the link and come on up, Charlie. Forget the people in the chat. I want you to come on up and dispel. You saying the numbers ain't realistic. So give me realistic numbers. I'm not in Facebook. I'm on YouTube. So if you're in YouTube, come on over, hit the link, and come on up. You came up to say whatever it is you said to the people in the chat. Fuck the people in the chat. I want you to come up and tell me the realistic numbers to do across a Midwest to West Coast move. Tell me, because you work for a moving company, so tell me the numbers. Tell me how much it's going to cost me to pay a team to travel across country. The fuel, the per diem, the hotels. Tell me a motherfucker who done did this shit, how much it's going to cost me. Did your boss give you a per diem? Untime them out. Untime them out. Untime them out. Bring them back over here. I didn't know y'all timed them out. Untime them out. Let's get them over here. This ain't the channel. Listen. See, y'all like doing that shit and then you don't know the numbers. Half y'all don't even know your cost. So come on up here before you can say anything. Clearly, you don't know business. And this is what I'm talking about, cost. Person don't know. You work for a moving company. The only thing you can count is your pockets. You don't know what the company made, or maybe you do. But what they charge and maybe what we charge is two different charges. But here's the thing that I do know. I know to move myself, it's going to cost damn near $10,000. So how much you think it's going to cost when you hire a company? Listen, we love dropping a link on this channel. We don't duck no smoke. Come on up here. You can't go in the chat. Bro, we used to move people from Atlanta, New York, sometime past New York to the Midwest, and the numbers were like 7,000 to 10,000. See what I'm saying? Bro, you know how much we charge to go to New York? 7,000 to 10,000. You know why? Because from Chicago, it's not that far. To go from Chicago to LA? Bro, what are you talking about? See, this is what I'm saying. You're talking about two different places. Two different distances. You telling me what your company charged? You telling me about to New York, bro? Yeah. From here to New York is not 20,000. Bro, you an employee. You gonna tell me what I charge? them send a crew cross country to the West Coast for what, 10 grand? It's gonna cost me more than 10 grand. I don't know, bro. Some of these, this is what I'm talking about. These guys, bro. When it comes to running a business, like, man, some people just need to just stop. Your price and my price is two different prices. Yo, what up?
What up, bro? What's going
Man,
on, man?
bro. Chilling.
Hey, whoever arguing about moving, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, bro. 100%. If you was paying $7,000 to go from wherever you went to, you getting robbed. You're robbing your business. Either way it goes, you taking the L, bro. We
Bro.
charge $7,000 to go from Arizona to Las Cruces. That's a 5-hour drive. But there's more involved in the price itself. You got to pay for inventory because that takes time. You got to pay for prep time. You got to pay for boxes. You got to pay for gas. You got to pay for hotel. You got to feed the
Bro, man.
employees. Like, what are people talking about, bro?
Bro, and this is what I be saying, like, man, these motherfuckers come into the chat, these new people or people who did this shit before from an employee standpoint that don't know the inner workings and the behind the scenes that's involved with this shit, and then they say shit, but this ain't the channel. You say some goofy shit here, bring your ass up. I'm gonna put you on the Summer Jam screen.
That shit is crazy. Because hey, whoever said that even sound crazy. So peep this out. I just did a quarter of a truck from AZ to Jersey for 25 bands. Like, what are y'all talking about, bro?
But I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro.
How y'all paying for y'all ELDs? Not on 7,000, you not?
He said he an employee. He worked for a moving company. He worked for a moving company in Atlanta. So he said, well, I seen the paperwork. Now he's saying, first of all, he's new. So he don't know I'm retired. He don't know I've been retired for the past 2 years. So he's just saying, show the paperwork. Like, I'm finna go dig through a storage for some paperwork to prove to him some shit that I've already done showed and proved. Like, my credibility on YouTube been stamped over a year ago. So I'm not gonna go dig through no goddamn old files in my OG's basement to fucking prove to you. All right. First of all, clearly you don't know the inner workings of moving from an owner's perspective. 3, if you work for a company and y'all was charging that type of money, then that's what y'all was charging. But, you know, like, there's no way I'm going from the Midwest to California for no fucking $10,000.
Yeah,
no fucking way. So the cost associated, like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
Like, that's crack. That's crackhead shit, bro. That's what you get these motherfuckers. Crackhead shit.
How did they make it there?
Bro,
How
listen.
they would have been able to drive from there? Like, let's say we was doing that from Chicago to California. How you gonna make it there? Get paid 10 grand, but your gas alone is gonna be damn near 10 grand. Do y'all not know how much these trucks drink? Like, they go crazy on gas. Like, what do you?
Bro, I don't know what
like
buddy
that's
is.
That's almost a 3,000-mile trip, bro. Like, just use common sense.
Buddy ass gotta be trolling. But I seen Buddy ass in the comments the other day. I think he did say he was new to the channel. He said he rock with the content. But, you know, like, bruh, I'm an OG, bro. I ain't got no reason to sit up here and do none of this shit, bro. Like, ain't too many moving content creators anyway. So I ain't trying to sell nobody shit. I ain't got no course or no mentorship to sell you. So what the fuck? Like, who's gonna move someone cross country from Chicago to fucking California for under 20 fucking grand to rent a fucking U-Haul? Just to rent the motherfucker you at 5,000 to move yourself. Like, what type of sense does this shit make?
They not paying attention, man, or they think they seen something that they really didn't see. Because to me, even even as an employee, some employees, y'all gotta see. Sometimes what you see as the end result ain't the total breakdown. Like unless you're looking at the bill of lading for itself, and you can see everything on there, you wouldn't know what the total cost was unless you were like in the office or you worked with direct sales or some shit like that. But outside of that, unless you wouldn't know unless you had the physical paperwork of the bill of lading.
bro.
So
Bro, we've done $5,000 moves within the city of Chicago, bro.
I know you have. I know you
The
have. That,
fuck?
we done that. We done the same. So I already know, man. It's just amazing that people say stupid shit like you went that far for $7 grand. Like you, just listen to what that sounds like. That means you're getting robbed. You're robbing yourself. Even if you work there, you're getting underpaid to do the actual work that it takes to do that job. You're getting underpaid. I'm just saying. But yeah, man, I had to get in here and just get off because that shit. I hate what. Hey, the moving. Don't disrespect the moving, man. That's the lane. I'm in here 24/7, man. I'm a cross country more than OTR driving, bro. So I don't. When people be talking about they logs and all that shit, man, don't
Bro.
come up here with no bullshit, man. My bad. Excuse the
Oh my
language.
God. No, you cool. You cuss. I said a few F-bombs today, man. Like that shit be frustrating me, bro. It just be frustrating me. Like, man, I don't know what people be thinking. Like, do you hear what you saying, bro? He's in a box truck right now, OTR. Just calculate the fuel going from the Midwest to the West Coast. He should be able to
Yeah.
calculate that in his head just from driving a box truck.
Right.
So now calculate. Well, see, he wouldn't know a lot of the inner workings because he said he worked for a moving company, right? But once you
Got you.
calculate all the labor and all the accessorial fees, the boxes, the per diems, the hotels, all that shit, bro. Like, what the fuck do you think? Like, how much do you think it costs the company to make the shit happen?
Right.
Bro,
That's why I said,
I
man, they obviously don't know because just look at van lines like Van lines don't talk to you unless you're talking about 30. And they don't give a damn what you got. They don't care if you got a quarter of a truck, full truck. They don't care because they run in semis. But the going rate to just initiate conversation with them is 30 bands. Like, so you think that they charging 30 bands just to charge? What you think a 26 footer gonna take? At least let's just say even if you took half and the job wasn't going that far, that's still not set, bro. $7,000 ain't shit. That is that. Yeah, my
he
boy over here
said, he
telling me
said,
stop
he
cussing.
said, he says, I'm not lying. I'm stretching the numbers. The guy who owned my barbershop, he just moved within the city. It's 3,900. Like what? Like what do you like? And you talking about moving from Atlanta to New York for 7,000, dude? Motherfuckers here are paying 3, 4, 5,000 to move across town.
Yeah, y'all got tolls to pay. Like, bro, y'all not breaking down every aspect of the business.
Now,
Y'all just taking bits and pieces.
but see, it's hard to explain when he said it. He said I worked for a moving company in a totally different market. But even with the cross country moving, bro, I've seen estimates for $40,000, bro. I've went out and did estimates where
Oh
they
yeah,
showed
I mean,
me other companies that were charging more. I've seen other companies charge 30 and 40,000.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I did a move from AZ to we did one to Kentucky that was like I want to say like 52, but it was 3 trucks. But still, all that shit comes into the equation. The more trucks, obviously, the more material, the more labor, the more manpower you got to spend. It's more than just throwing shit in the truck and then just driving. That's not how it works, man. So tell bro, hey, go do your homework, man. Moving is not just throw this shit back in the truck. Throw it down,
Hey,
tie it down, and call it a day. It's
hey
more to
man.
it, bro.
Some people, and that's why everybody in the chat. He's saying everybody in the chat, but you got people in here that are moving company owners, people working for moving companies that are in the chat right now. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, like these are what the numbers are. So, man, I don't know what company
Yeah,
he worked for, but I ain't gonna get that shit too much more energy, bro. I appreciate you coming up.
for sure, bro. I'll get at you, man. Have a good one.
All right, be safe. All right, so man, look. To sum things all up, you want to make money and your truck ain't making no money, you can get into the moving. All right, you can start it like everybody else starts it, and then you can work your way up. But if you do start it like how everybody else started, you have to be careful, especially if your state is regulated, because if they get you, it's going to be a hefty fine. But this is an alternative to what you're doing if you're struggling with middle mile. Now, if you don't want to go the full moving route, you can go the final mile route. You can go the final mile route and you could do in-home delivery, right? Now, market depending is going to depend on what the rates are. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on your market. All right. So every market is going to be different, but if you can find a team or someone else to work with, you can do big and bulky appliance delivery and have consistent work, right? Because it's dedicated. All right. So that's all I came here to talk about today. You know, I don't know what some of y'all be well, not some of y'all, but there's one cat in the chat. I don't know what he's thinking about. But we're gonna take a few questions. And if that brother wants to come on up, that link's still pinned to the top of the chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat. I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to have a conversation. And just make sure you go back through the content, big dog. Make sure you go back through that content, big dog. All right. Let me see here. Let me pin that to the top. Let's go ahead and pin that. What's his name? Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can find him. Let's see if I can find him. Why y'all time him out? What was he saying? Pin message. All right, let me see if I can find him. Let me see if I can find him. He's not on timeout. How long did y'all time him out for? He's not on timeout. He can hit the link. He good. All he gotta do is hit the link. It don't matter because I can see him in the control like y'all can't see, but I see everything, whether they timed out or not. So only thing he got to do is put something in the chat. I'll see it, or he can hit the link. Like, I want him to come up. I would love to have a conversation with him so we could talk about how he got ripped off. This dude's crazy, bro. What do you think? Moving for crackhead prices, boy? Nobody finna be carrying all that heavy shit and not get paid for it. What are you tweaking on? The numbers, man. What were y'all charging in Atlanta per man? What were y'all charging per man? Whoever you work for, what were they paying y'all, and what were they charging per hour per man? I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know. Hey, Dizzy, the link pin to the top of the chat. I see him. I got him. He's untimed out. Only thing he got to do is come in the chat and hit the link or leave a comment. I can see it. He can come in the chat and hit the link. That's all he got to do. I can see it. He's straight. I just want to have a conversation with him. What year was this, big dog? This had to be about 30 years ago. Because even when I came in, When I got my first 16-foot truck, I was charging $75 an hour for 2 guys. And this is over 10 years ago, locally. So I'm just curious, bro. I'm curious. Like, I really want to know what you were making and what they were charging. For real. Link pin, it's pinned to the top. He in Facebook. I'm telling him to come on over. He in Facebook commenting because y'all timed him out. He can come back over. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go right here. It's him right here. He in Facebook because y'all timed him out. But he can come back over to YouTube. So I'm going to wait on him. I'm going to give him a little time. I'm going to give him about a minute or two. Mm-hmm. Boy, you think somebody finna be climbing up? Boy, don't you know during the pandemic I was charging them folks $300 an hour? Boy, is you tweaking? Think I'm finna do that? What? And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You know what they was doing? Paying it. Paying it. You know why? Because they ain't had no choice. And it was the going rate. And it's still the going rate. They was paying it. You know why? Because they don't want to do it themselves. Let me tell you something. And I talked about this in the montage and a few other things. Let me tell you another thing about black people. When something that they feel like they haven't done and somebody else did it, they want to contest it. Let me tell you who my clientele base is. It wasn't black people. See, you didn't watch the montage. I used to get flat when I wrapped my vehicles. I had an image, right, of a white man on some of my trucks and my vans, right? Not all of them. And I used to get a lot of flack for putting this white character because everybody said, Mark, why you didn't put a black man on the wraps? Why didn't you put a black family? And I said, because 98% of our clientele base is white and others. We don't deal with black people. Black people don't hire movers. They go to U-Haul. They're not paying $200 an hour. See, he's looking at it probably from a consumer base. I don't know how he's looking at it. But black people seem to have an issue with other black people when they are doing good. When shit don't seem like realistic, that's realistic. And I don't understand what's unrealistic about that when it comes to moving. But it's in the content, big dog. Rich Juice said he's not coming back. I don't think so. All right, we're going to chalk another one up. We're going to chalk another W up on the board. Man, Joe, I don't know, bro. These new guys that be finding the channel, bro, they got to go back to the content, bro. They got to go back to the content, bro. I'm telling you, they have to go back through this content, bro. You ain't even gotta go back for this content. You can go back about 2 months, and then you gonna see something that you probably never seen before. You gonna see you gonna see something that you never seen before. Just go back a couple months, big dog. Go back a couple months. Go back and look at that montage. Go back and look at that. And that young motherfucker, he started with a pickup truck. That guy started with a pickup truck. And guess what? That sounds unbelievable. But I did it. Y'all just don't want to work. Yep. He coming back, y'all? Or we gonna end it? Should we wait for him a little bit, or we think we done here? I think we done here. I think we done here. Ace wanted to say you hit the nail on the head with that. It's sad, but it's true. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I'm waiting for him to come back. This mother gonna go cross country for $7,000. He gonna go from the Midwest to LA for $6,000. Like I don't bro, I don't know. But this goes back to cost. Like I said, bro, like, man, this shit. The Knight said, man, that brother conceded. I just want him to come up here and explain to me how what's the cost. Tell me how I can make that happen for less. To rent a one-way truck, if I wanted to do that shit myself, just renting the truck, we looking at a nickel. So tell me how I'm finna do that for $7,000 to $10,000 as a company. To rent a 26-foot truck going one way to LA is gonna cost me about a nickel. Once you add insurance and taxes. Let's see how much if I want to tow my car. You gotta start over. Yeah. Let's say we got a 2024 Chrysler. No, y'all like them Hellcats. No, I'm sorry, Dodge. We're gonna do a Dodge. That's right, I don't make it in 2020. Just go 2023. Let's do Challenger Hellcat wide body. Road drive. All right, so if we want to add the trailer to tow our Hellcat, it's gonna be another $256. Now we gotta hire Man and four of them to help us load it. We're gonna rent them from U-Haul because U-Haul gonna charge us when we get to the end screen. Once they charge us for the insurance and the taxes, they're gonna ask us, do we need help loading? We're gonna say yes. And guess what it's going to cost us to get help to load it? Let's see. We might as well just go through it. Let's just see how much it's going to cost us to move ourselves. Got to tow our Hellcat. We got to get our Hellcat to the West Coast. All right. We're going to pick it up from, we're going to go to Brighton Park. We're going to pick it up at 8:30. All right. We're going to pick it up at 8:30 Friday. We got to get to the West Coast by Labor Day. We want to take our Hellcat to some of these car meets that's going to be out there. I heard them car meets out in LA. I heard y'all be lighting the ground on fire and doing donuts and shit. Now, I don't know much about LA, but we're going to drop it off at U-Haul Moving and Storage at Atwater Village. Okay, we're going to drop it off there. Let's drop it off there. All right, so we want to be safe. We want to get the best insurance, which is going to be an additional $252. And then we want to get insurance for our trailer, which is going to be $130. Because we got to make sure full damage and waiver. We want to make sure we covered. We want to make sure we are covered. All right. We're going to continue. Do we want Safe Trip for an extra $7? Of course we do. We want to make sure we're covered. We're moving ourselves. We're not professional. Now, we're going to contact these local movers and they say, hey, we're going to load you. Make sure you got some dollies and shit like that. So we're going to get 2 utility dollies. We're going to get an appliance dolly. We're going to get 3 furniture dollies. And we got a lot of shit that need to get wrapped. We're going to get 6 dozen blankets. Now, this is just us moving ourselves. This shit is a lot more expensive when you hire a mover. All right? We don't need no storage, big dog. We don't need no storage. We don't need no storage. Man, we need mattress bags. But you know what? We're going to leave that out. We ain't even going to add that shit. We ain't going to add that. Do we need help? Yeah, we need help. What do you know? All right. So let's see here. Just to load. Look at those prices just to load. These guys are just loaders. They're not bringing a truck. They're not driving the truck cross country. They're just going to load. So to get 2 guys to load for 4 hours is going to cost us $500. Just for 4 hours is going to cost us another $500. Wow. Now, mind you, these guys are just coming out to load and it's $500 for the first 4 hours. These guys don't got no truck. They ain't bringing no equipment. All they coming is with them and they gloves. So what this guy was talking about, I don't know what he's talking about. These guys are going to come out for the first 4 hours. It's going to be $500 just to load. And this guy is talking about the numbers are stretched. These guys ain't bringing shit. Let's keep looking. 4 hours, 500, 4 hours, 600, 4 hours, 700. We want the best of the best. They got 181. Listen, just to load. These dudes is damn near pushing a G-ball. What is this guy talking about? This Dizzy guy. What is this Dizzy guy talking about? Let's keep looking. Let's see if we got some more guys. Let's see if we got some more expensive. We want the best of the best. We don't want the cheap guys. We want the guys that are really premium loaders. We want to spend money is no object. Remember, we're not paying license movers. We got quotes for 25. We got quotes for 20,000. The lowest came in about 19.5. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do it ourselves. So we have a cushion, but we want to make sure our stuff is loaded properly. Chicago's Best Helpers. They're charging $2,800 for 4 hours. See, I don't know what's going on down in Atlanta. I live in Chicago. This a rich town. Woo, it's a rich town. Woo, our taxes. Listen, we paying over 10% taxes, big dog. I live in a blue state. 10% taxes. 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 10% See, our money and y'all money down there is a little bit different. Y'all can buy big houses down there, 4 or 5 bedroom houses. Last time I looked, I haven't looked recently, but the last time I looked, you get 4 or 5 bedroom house down there for what? Couple $100,000? Couple $100,000? Can somebody in Atlanta help me? If I wanted to get a 4 or 5 bedroom house in Atlanta, what I'm looking at? What I'm looking at? Somebody help me out here. If I wanted to move to Atlanta and I wanted a 4 to 5 bedroom, where's that one lady who the realtor lady that be watching? Where is she at? I want to look at a 4 or 5 bedroom house in Atlanta. How much I'm looking at? Can somebody in Atlanta help me? How much we looking at for a 4 bedroom? Let's say a 4 bedroom. Somebody help me, because I don't want to throw out nothing, because I haven't been looking at the housing market in Atlanta. Housing market in Atlanta. Somebody help me out. Just give me a decent 4 bedroom house in a decent area. What are we looking at? Where's Jacoby? Where's all the people from Atlanta? Tell me what we looking at. What we looking at? All right, let's pick somebody. Let's pick somebody. They charging 28. We ain't gonna go that high. Let's pick let's see here. Because it might go over 4 hours. I believe it's gonna take more than 4 hours. We got a lot of stuff. And we on the 3rd floor. We want everything wrapped. Let's go. They got 782 reviews. Let's go with them. $800. All right, let's make up an address. In order to provide the most, and this ain't even the rate. We got to give them an address. Let's say we live, let's make up an address. All right, so now we need help unloading. Now let's look what we noticed here. The unload rates in LA are a lot cheaper, right? Unloading is a little bit quicker, different market, but it's cheaper in LA. It's gonna take longer than 3 hours, but let's go with these. They got a lot of reviews. Let's go with them. I don't know. What's the address in LA? What's the Staples Center address? Shit, I don't know. 111 Main Street. Shit, I don't know. Is that a street in LA? Hold on, let me find a LA address. Let me see. Staples Center address. 1403 West Pico Boulevard. All right, let's see it. 1403 West Pico. And then that's Los Angeles, California. What's the zip code on that? Zip code? What's the zip code? What is the zip code? Uh, 915. Let's see some. All right, confirm. All right, so we got a rough estimate, but we know it's going to be more because it's going to take more to load and more to unload, right? But we're at about 53,000. I mean 5,300. So estimated taxes. Now after the taxes, we're looking at an estimated taxes of $5,700, right? Now we still got to drive, we still got to stop, we still got to eat, da 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 da. Now those labor costs are estimated, right? Because it's going to go over, right? 3 hours is not going to be enough, all right, to unload, and the loading process takes a little bit longer because we want our things wrapped, right? And then there's going to be other costs associated here, like I said, fuel, food, tolls, hotels, things of that nature. So you can round it up to what you think. Let's say another couple grand. All right, this is what it would cost us to move ourselves. So what do you think a moving company is going to charge you? That's paying for labor, that's paying for per diem, the markup on the materials, the fuel, the hotels, all the costs that are associated. And here's what Buddy don't know. The return trip is included into the cost. Not all the time are you going to get something coming back when you're doing long distance moving. So the fee for the return is included into the cost. But he wouldn't know that because he's never owned a moving company. So, all right. All right. I think I'm done here. I think we just dispelled that myth. All right. We got any questions, and then we're gonna get out of here. We just dispelled it. Listen. When you send someone cross country, the return costs that are associated with the crew coming back is added in. You, the customer, paying for that pimp. You didn't know that. So tell me how we gonna make this shit happen for $7,000 to $10,000. I don't know, bro. All right, link pinned to the top of the chat. Listen, hit the like button. I appreciate everybody. I'm hoping y'all learned something. I'm hoping y'all were entertained today. We almost had us one. But all right, I think I'm going to go over to the Discord for a little bit. I'm going to kick it in the Discord. Hold on. Oh, y'all got me? 400 to 600K? 500 and $70,000. So I can get a 4-bedroom house for about $500,000. There goes your answer. The cost of living is a lot cheaper down there. A decent 4-bedroom in Atlanta can get from between 220 to 300. So let's say 400 based on what everybody said. All right, man, I'm out.